Okay, so the power's out here, and I'm kind of bored, so yeah, you may be able to hear the rain, I'm not sure. Um, so yeah, figured I'd make a video. I now remember I have a channel, so um, I figured I'd just, speak my mind about some things. I'm doing all right in case anybody really cares. Lots happened, but nothing really has in the past, couple years since I've uploaded a video. Nothing really new to say. But I did come across something today about Missouri's. I guess there's going to be initiative. There's going to be like an initiative or something on the ballot in November about abortion rights, and how I guess the state has a near total abortion ban, and there's a vote to overturn that. Which, yeah, if you live in Missouri, which I feel for you, don't get me wrong, but if you live there, get out there and vote. Seriously, uh, get back just get back your dignity. Get back your right to have access to basic health care. Like, for fuck's sake. Like, that's... I can't believe it's actually come to this here in the States. It's almost mind-blowing to me. But even still. Um, but yeah, get out there and vote and make sure you and other women out there have rights to an abortion if they need it. Um, but that's also what I wanted to bring up as well, too, is the fact that I realized something as I was going through the article, just kind of skimming it really, is the fact that I really don't have any sort of reproductive rights as a man, and I need to remember that. And I figured I'd remind the rest of the guys who may or may not be listening as well that you don't have any reproductive rights either. You have obligations, but you don't have rights. And you need to really be cautious when it comes to engaging in sexual activity if you really don't want to have a kid. And I know what somebody's going to say. Somebody's going to be like, well, what about condoms or pulling out or spermicide or this or that? And that's great. We can have all the amazing, which there aren't any really, we can have all the contraceptives in the world for men, but it doesn't matter because we ultimately don't get the final say in the matter. And this is something I've touched on in another video as well, but, um, you know, both pro-choice and pro-life men can agree on this one thing, and that is it's not up to them whether or not they're a father. And you need to remember that as a guy. And I've seen, and here's the thing too, the state is most likely going to be on her side when it comes to anything, and it doesn't matter whether she lied to you or not. So you really need to vet the women you're, getting with. Because she can lie to you and say she's on birth control or she's on, using an IUD or whatever she's going to say, tubes tied, whatever. But it really doesn't matter. If there's a child about to be born, you're on the hook for child support and you're going to be a father if she doesn't want to get an abortion. And to loop back around to what I talked about originally, too, about abortion rights, yeah, make sure, even as a guy, I know it doesn't necessarily directly affect you as a man, but seriously, get out there and vote to get back that basic right to health care, because, I'm sure we all got ladies we care about in our lives, and as an antinatalist personally, I'm pretty thorough about trying to, make sure women are above board when it comes to this, and I want them to have access to that sort of health care if it comes down to it, personally. So it benefits everyone. But even still, I do have to acknowledge, though, that as a man, I don't have any reproductive rights, and I need to be extra careful because I do see men, obviously most of them aren't antinatalist around here, but I do see men around my area and in my past experience be reckless with this sort of shit, and it really fucks with them. It can really fuck over their own lives, as well as condemning another person to have to suffer and die on this planet. And also, too, when it comes to that, even if you want kids, you need to be wary, too, that you can absolutely be put on the hook to support that child, whether or not you're the father. So be careful of that, too. And in fact, it's happened in my own family. It's pretty fucked up. It still pisses me off, but even still, be wary of that as well. I don't know what prompted this in me, but I feel like there's plenty of discourse around like the right to an abortion and everything. It's like a real hot button political issue. It really shouldn't be. But for some reason we're stuck in the Stone Ages here in the States when it comes to some things. But something made me just kind of look at the opposite and acknowledge that, as a man, I just don't have a voice when it comes to any sort of reproductive rights. And because of that, I have to be careful. I have obligations. And, if I want to forego those, I got to be extra careful. Really don't have any proposed solutions to that issue about whether or not, about what should be done for men's reproductive rights. I guess as far as it would go is I should be able, if it comes down to it, I should be able to withdraw support for a child I didn't want. I don't know if I could ever do that necessarily. I really don't want to leave my child if I were to ever fuck up in a lurch. But at the same time, I would totally understand if a man just didn't want that burden. So, who didn't ask for it and who was just straight up lied to. So there's no real good solution here. End of the day, a child's produced, and while you had a hand in it, you don't really have a say in it. And that's just the way it goes. So be wise to remember that. But I think I've rambled on enough. A bit rusty at all this, so you'll have to bear with me here. But, I may come out with another video soon enough. There is something I saw recently that kind of pissed me off, and I figured I'd bring that up as well. But I just figured I'd remind the fellows out there with all this talk of, abortion rights and everything else, to remind them that, hey, you really don't have any rights, so be careful. So there's that. So I'm going to leave you to it, and, thank you for listening, and have a good one.